We have an undisputed matchup this upcoming weekend in the women's super middleweight division. Franchon Crews is taking on Savannah Marshall. But before we get into that, welcome back to All Takes, No Whiffs. I'm Alex, and that's Christian. And this fight was actually supposed to be the co-main event for Liam Smith versus Chris Eubanks Jr. 2. But Liam Smith got hurt and they could not find a replacement. So they just scrapped that all together or moved that fight back. And this is now the main event. Should honestly be a pretty good fight. Both girls have one loss. Both of them have come to Claressa Shields, the GOAT of women's boxing. And for Savannah Marshall, came in her last fight last October or something like that. And for Crews, that actually came in her first professional fight in 2016. It was a 4-round fight. So it's been a long time since that. But this should be honestly a pretty interesting fight at super middleweight for these women.
Yeah, definitely an interesting fight. If you ask me, there's a few different factors that make it interesting. Obviously, Savannah Marshall, I would say, is the more known name in women's boxing for sure. I would definitely say for sure, based off their record, she carries a little more power. I think that's safe to say. A little safe to
Crews
say.
got some pretty good power too.
Yeah.
The two knockouts don't speak for it.
No, I feel that. But then at the same time, Crews having 2 knockouts but still having solid power, what that shows me is that she's got some solid technique behind her too. I think that's something I can read. It's when you see a record like that, it's telling of they like to box and they might be missing out on power, but that's not always the case. To be honest with you, I'm pretty critical of Savannah Marshall right now. The way she looked against Claressa Shields, obviously Shields is the GOAT of women's boxing, so that is a tough task to deal with, but she just looked bad. She looked horrible against Claressa Shields.
Very slow.
It looked like her feet were stuck in the ring, straight up. And honestly, seeing that Crews has some boxing ability just based off of her record, that's going to pose a problem for Savannah Marshall, in my opinion. That and Savannah Marshall is moving up in weight for this fight too. So, yeah, this is, even though she's the more known and notable name, this is definitely a big test for her, and I think that might be going under the radar.
Yeah, and Crews is spoke to that too. She thinks that Marshall moving up is going to be a little problem for her with the weight, and Crews says she's a natural super middleweight, so this is her weight class, and she feels very comfortable here. But like you said, Savannah Marshall's got some really, really concrete feet. Looks like she's stuck in the ring that last fight, and Crews, she's got some, like I was saying, some pretty decent pops. She likes to throw these wide, long hooks, so that could be a problem. But she also likes to keep her head very stationary too, so that could be a problem. And Savannah Marshall could tee off on that. So that's where I'm kind of seeing. Like haven't really come up with my prediction yet, but I honestly think this is going to be a pretty scrappy fight, and there could be a lot of clinching, to be honest, because Savannah Marshall is an awkward fighter too.
Mm-hmm. So you don't have your prediction yet, you would say?
You give me yours, and I'll let you know what mine is.
Give you mine. I'll give you mine, and mine is based off of not many things. I'm rocking with Team Crews, the undisputed champion at 168. I think that Crews is going to defend her title by a decision because I'm anti Savannah Marshall right now after that last performance. That was like, I'm still thinking about it. That was so bad. And if there's somebody else that's light on their feet that's able to box around Savannah Marshall, she has no shot unless she lands that one lucky shot. And that's how it is in boxing. But I need to study up more on Crews for sure. But just my initial thoughts of hearing what I've heard about her, I'm going with Team Crews.
I definitely feel you on that, and I think I'm going to be on the opposite end of you. I think Marshall, she's going to maybe bounce back from this. She can look a little better, maybe a little lighter on her feet. And like I was saying, how Crews kind of leaves her head stationary there sometimes. I think Marshall may catch her a couple of times and at one point might stop her. So I'm going to go with a Marshall stoppage in the 7th round.
Hey, that's a definitely a solid prediction right there, because you got one thing right for sure. Marshall's going to have to bounce back because she can only go up after that last performance. But
yeah, it can't go down. But then she also faced Claressa Shields. So
yeah. So honestly, yeah, this could be a good opportunity for Marshall for sure, though, to bounce back. That's a really good point because she's not in there with Claressa Shields. Yeah, Crews definitely has her tools and her potential to win this fight, but it's not Claressa Shields that Marshall is facing. So that could be a huge difference too. So This is going to be a solid fight in the UK, though, this weekend. And hopefully Savannah Marshall could change my opinion on her, because I'm not going to hold back when I feel a certain way about a fighter. I'm just going to keep it real.
You can
But
check our Berlinga recap.
yeah, go ahead and check that out. And yeah, you'll know.
You'll know what we're talking about.
Keep it a stack over here. But let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Who do you think is going to win this fight? Are you Team Crews or Team Marshall? I know who I'm rocking with. So, yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, and leave a like. We would appreciate all the support. And definitely subscribe if you want to stay tuned for our recap on this fight next week. But until then, peace.
Peace.